Howdy, and welcome to another South Dakota Sports Lounge. And our lounge this week is Midco Arena, the home of Augustana Division I hockey, right in the middle of Sioux Falls. We just completed an interview with Josh Morton, ran the gambit of topics. He's the Augustana Athletic Director, and you can find that on Happy Hour with John Gaskins, SiouxFallsLive.com or Midwest Sports Plus. And on this show today, man, we are digging into the football season once again with material from both Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Day and Mountain West Conference Football Media Days. You're going to hear from former South Dakota State offensive coordinator Jason Eck, now the head man at New Mexico, and one of the most colorful, vibrant, and viral personalities in all of big boy college football. And you'll also hear from Beau Brungard, who was awarded the Heisman Trophy of the FCS last year, the Walter Payton Award. He's the quarterback at Youngstown State. And you're going to hear not just about a man, but a mustache. Brock Spack is the dean of MVFC football coaches, and he guided Illinois State all the way to within inches of a national championship last year. But Zach Borg is going to hone in on that glorious thing right above his lips with him and others in the conference. But we're going to start with MVFC legend, a recent legend from South Dakota State. Cade Johnson played 3 years in the NFL with the Seattle Seahawks. Before that, 3 prolific years in Brookings. He's the son of a Husker football legend. He is the brother of Division I receivers, and he's one of the very best to play that position at SDSU. He caught passes from Taryn Christion, and he learned how to catch passes at a high level from guys like Goedert and Jake Weineke. But we start this clip from Happy Hour asking Cade about the all-time Jackrabbit legend. What does John Stiegelmeier mean to you in your life question? And you can also rattle off first impressions or any stories that stick out.
Yeah, I mean, man, Coach Stig, I was like, I'm just proud that I was able to play for him because he's just a great coach and a great person. And I just think he was everything that is right with college football, and like the whole dynamic of it is different now. And I just like feel so blessed to be at SDSU the time that I was, because he installed just everything in us, and like just us raising us as men. And he really just had an awesome personality and was just, like everything, you just respected him when you walked in the room. And I think the first time just seeing him get mad and not hearing a swear word come out of his mouth, and it's like, holy nutmeg, is like, that was crazy to me because he really does not cuss. And there's other coaches now that it's like they've gone off and been head coaches and it's like completely different. But I just think his discipline and how he is as a person, it's just like, it's not a show. It's like, that's actually who he is. And I think it's just really cool. And I'm just like, he's literally took me in as a son, and there was a lot of growing pains in college. And we sat down multiple times, even before I was like in the limelight, and had like serious real life conversations. And I think you don't get that a lot in football programs. And just to be able to sit there and connect with him on those type of levels, my respect for him just went up every year. And, I would do anything for him. Like he's still to this day, he texts me and checks in, and like he remembers the little things. And I think as a coach of 20 plus years, when you have so many players, it just speaks to your character and who you are as a person. Like you truly care about these players.
Had to surprise you the first time you saw him drive in on a moped then.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. With this hockey helmet on. That was hilarious.
That's right. That's all in the book, by the way. I'll give a shout out to
the only one that got handicap parking on the moped. So
as his made famous by his appearance on College Game Day 2019, which we'll get to if we have time.
Yeah.
But you're okay. Sophomore year, you now get to hit the field. It's 2017. I mean, Jake Weineke and Goedert are still, Goedert's a tight end, but they're the two main receivers, pass catchers.
Goedert was just everything for us at that point. Like, more than a tight end.
Yes. You're a freshman now. You get to play, and within your third game, you're returning a kickoff 95 yards to the house. And you added one more kickoff return for a touchdown that freshman season, which was the first time in 54 years there had been 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns by the same guy. But that first one, 95 yards in game 3, Beef Bowl. I mean, what a welcome to college football moment. Take us there.
Oh, man. That still feels like a dream, honestly, is like, I just remember because, man, how like the circle is so small because like me and Coach Schleichner were talking about it this year because he's the OC up at New Mexico with Coach Eck being the head coach.
Was he the receivers coach?
He was the tight ends coach at the time, but he was he was the kickoff return coach more specifically.
Okay.
And so Arnheim was my wide receiver coach at the time, and I just remember having conversations with Arnheim as like with Dallas and Jake here, like all of us young receivers, what are you going to do to separate yourself? Because you're not going to do it as a receiver. Like we have 2,500, 3,000 yards like between these two guys. So I just remember like really honing in. I'm like, I'm going to be the best kickoff returner because I did it in high school. I felt comfortable. And just for me, it was like when I got that little sliver of hope and little sliver of opportunity, I was going to do something with it. And just like our kickoff team that year was unbelievable. Like everybody was just so like with the plan and wanted to like make it work. And I think after that kickoff return happened, it just set the standard for the rest of the year and what it was going to be. And just like, hey, just block for 2 to 3 seconds. I got you guys on the back end. And I just feel like that moment was just like so defining in my college career was like, okay, like I can establish myself as something more on this team and then start to earn these guys' trust around me. And I feel like it just opened up perfectly for me after that. So
what impressions and influences did both Jake Weineke and Dallas Goedert have on you?
Man, I can't.
What was it like to be around them and a teammate and a receiving teammate of those two in their prime?
Well, it's pretty cool because like if you truly know the two guys, they're like completely opposite, but then when they get on the field, it's like they're the same person. And so I like to say it was like the best of both worlds. Is like, you know, Dallas was just a really cool dude, and so was Jake. But just those guys, you know, once I started to like kind of perform a little bit, they took me a little bit more serious, and I wasn't just like the class clown anymore. And they just like really embraced me. And then the more and more like as time went on, like Jake is just like I've had some like really vulnerable conversations with him, and he's like I still consider him my big brother. And Dallas the same way is just like always like those guys gave me so much confidence in who I was as a person. I think they don't realize how much they just like installed in me and just wanting to be great like them. And I just think it was really fun. It almost felt like high school football again. It's just like you go out there and just take over. And I just saw the impact they made, and I'm like, I can do that. Like I want to do that. So it was really cool.
I mean, the big moment, anybody who watched the games with Dallas Goedert was a one-handed catch that he made early in the season against Drake. Yeah. It's still there. But did you see what kinds of freak things did you see in practice or on a daily basis that you still remember?
I mean, I feel like Dallas used to get yelled at every day because he would only put one hand up. Like he would never catch it with 2 hands. And then they're like, in the game, you're going to catch it with 2 hands, but he was still catching it with 1 hand. So like Dallas was insane, especially in practice. It's like you just see some of this stuff and you're like, this guy should not be moving like that. He is this big and he's moving like he's my size. And like Jake's the same way, and just like they did it in practice. I think that was like the biggest thing too, is like they did what they did in the game in practice, and they just showed up every day and just set the tone. So it was fun. It was really fun.
But I think most people know what you mean by different personalities, but explain it with a memory or a little bit more vivid detail.
Yeah, I think, you know, so like I'm trying to keep it PG, but like Jake is like, you know, like on a Friday night, like, you know, we're playing cards and staying in the house, and Dallas was, you know, I had the best of both worlds. So Dallas was like a little bit my speed sometimes, where it was like, you know, we're having a good time and enjoying ourselves and all the things. So
I got you.
It was good.
We know what you mean.
Dallas is from Britton, South Dakota, so he knows how to
party.
He knows how to party. I wasn't put it that way.
Okay, you can say it. You're college kids. It's all right.
Yeah. So I still remember too. I think it was my 21st party bus, and we went to like Flanderoo and a bunch of small town, and Dallas was on there. It was a great time.
Man, that would be a great time. Did you live with either of those two?
No, I lived across the street from Dallas, and then I was always over at Jake's house because he would have like dinners every Saturday night. But like it was, man, they just welcomed. I think that was the coolest thing about being in Brookings and like having a moped is we would just pull up to everyone's house, and you go to one house and it's like there's going to be 4 or 5 players in there and like just bounce around from house to house. I remember just going down, is it 6th Street or whatever the main street is like.
Yes.
Like you see someone's house and just like, hey, I wonder what they're doing. So you just pull up, and yeah, Dallas was the same way. It's like, I just remember always just going to check in on Dallas. He lived like 2 blocks down from me, so it was pretty fun.
What about Taryn Christion? Your first 3 years, that was the quarterback. He's only the best there ever was. Either in his demeanor and leadership that you would see, practices, huddles, locker room, or certainly the kind of playmaker he was, the capability that he had to get you the ball. I mean, just give us the Taryn Christion 101.
Yeah, Taryn was just a different dude. Like he was about business, and then he also had a goofy side to him. So like once you like peel back those layers on him, is like you just realize this is just a big goofball. And Taryn I just love Taryn so much. I don't think I have like a bad story to say about Taryn, just because especially the year that I broke the record, like we just connected like on so many things. Okay, I take that back. I have one bad story. After my redshirt freshman year, Taryn got me a job at Dunham's Sports, and I think it's still a thing at Brookings, but he was actually like somewhat of my boss. And he would yell at me because I wasn't doing anything in there. It was just a summer job. That was what I was going to do. And it was just, that kind of just like helped our relationship, especially on the field, is like working with Taryn that year. And I give props to Taryn because he was into golf before everyone else was. And he's just like, Taryn's like one of a kind. Like I'll probably never meet another Taryn in my life. And he was just so good at football, and then he was the same thing. He was just a great person, and he was just fun to be around.
From happy hour to hot mic, from Sioux Falls to Fargo. But our friend Dom Izzo was actually in Las Vegas last week for the Mountain West Conference Football Media Days. Of course, because North Dakota State has made the leap into FBS and that league. And part of the experience was talking to a lot of the coaches from that league. And Jason Eck has burst onto the scene, taking over what was pretty much a dormant, or felt like a dormant, football program at New Mexico. And in 1 year, the former Jackrabbit offensive coordinator and Idaho head coach has the Lobos rocking and rolling, 9 wins and a bowl game. And let's get a taste of Jason Eck in Vegas.
A pretty good conversation that we had with the head coach of New Mexico and Jason Eck, part of our coverage out at Mountain West Media Days. And obviously, there is the strongest of connections that the Bison have to the Mountain West. One is with Jeff Choate, and you're going to hear from him in Nevada. That was the other coach I forgot, by the way. And the other is Eck. And Eck, obviously, is, unlike Choate, had success in Fargo as offensive coordinator at South Dakota State. He won up here in 2016, won up here in 2021, in a couple of the spring season of 2021, and obviously had some very big wins in Brookings as well as OC before launching his head coaching career, which took him from Idaho to now New Mexico. And we spent the gamut of our conversation talking on the rivalry with the Bison and now how NDSU fits into the new league in the Mountain West.
Our Media Days coverage continues here from Las Vegas. Excited to have New Mexico head coach Jason Eck join us. For Bison fans back in Fargo, they know that name well, former South Dakota State offensive coordinator. It's great to see you. I was just joking with you off air when you had the press conference right after the NDSU got announced. I love what you said, that you thought you were done with the Fargo Dome. So did you twist some arms that the Bison were coming to Albuquerque this year?
I got a 1 year reprieve before that, because that's a tough place to play. And I think the crowd was always cranked up too for those Jackrabbit games, and hopefully coming to the Mountain West is going to just raise their excitement for all the games. I know I had heard that they didn't sell out that game or they got upset this year.
Did
So
not.
hopefully now with some fresh teams coming in, that'll lift the excitement. But I know what a great fan base that the Bison have, and I know what a great media following they have. I think this is a great match and a great fit for our league.
I got to go back to those games, Jason. I remember that 2016, both those games, the regular season game, obviously the Jake Weineke touchdown catch in the end zone, how monumental that was. Take me back your memories of those games and being such an integral part of them.
I mean, what a rivalry to be a part of. And when I first got there, the Jackrabbits were on a pretty long losing streak to the Bison. And really had to build the belief, because I think there was definitely some long faces and some people who maybe thought, hey, we can't beat these guys. And we were able to change that. And I think that, probably some of those lessons I learned there of how to build belief and get people thinking they could do something that maybe right now they don't think they could do, probably helped me at Idaho and at New Mexico, building some of that belief in our teams to get them going. And they were great games. I mean, that was right down like the last play of the game, the 2016 game, and then they got after us pretty good in the playoffs. Then the next year, 2017,
awesome game there.
We got them at our
Brookings.
place.
Yep.
They turned the ball over a bunch.
Because
they had Stick, but
Easton Stick's worst game, I think, as a Bison.
He had a bunch of turnovers, and we were able to get them. And I remember Goedert made a great catch against the real good outside linebacker transferred to LSU.
Jabril Cox.
Yeah,
yes.
he was a great player.
Fantastic.
A freak
Just
player.
think of those names, though.
No, a lot of
playing
pros
FCS football right there.
No. And then 18, they drilled us both times up there and in the playoffs. Wasn't even close. And then
19 was college game day.
19 was college game day.
Yeah, that was
a
heck of a day.
What atmosphere that was. And they got us. And then the last two times we played them in the spring season, we got them up in Fargo and then got them at our place the last year where we did the I'll always remember this one. We ran the play where we snapped it.
I was going to ask you about that.
We snapped it through the legs, and Pierre Strong was in the NFL, threw it to Tiger Kraft is in the NFL. And I remember coming down on the press box elevator and Tyler Roll, because we didn't have TVs up there, and Tyler kind of goes to me at halftime. He goes, "Did you snap the ball through the legs of the quarterback?" I said, "Yeah, we did." So what games? What great games.
When did you know Mark Gronowski to say, this is the guy? He's going to be the dude?
Pretty soon right away. I mean, we liked him a lot in recruiting. He was really athletic and could run. And I thought guys like that help your O-line. So, and I've always thought, to beat really good teams, you need to have a quarterback who can extend plays and things. And then he really came in, and the fact that we played in the spring that year gave him all that time.
Yeah.
It was almost like he was an early enrollee, which is more common in FBS than FCS.
Yep.
But it allowed him to really win the team over, get to know everybody, and I started having guys coming to my office, even defensive players saying, "Yeah, we're going to start Gronowski, right?" I was like, "Yeah, we'll see." And I was kind of thinking, "Yeah, you're right." But no, what a great player! Very proud of him, and I think I read that or saw that he's ironically him and Cam Miller with the same team right now, right?
The Dolphins.
How about that? But that was kind of a neat rivalry, and credit to Cam, who came back at the end of his career and finally got him after Gronowski won some of the early battles.
I'm interested, Jason, to see the amount of FCS guys here, not unless yourself, but the amount of players that have, and it's the natural progression of things. Obviously, the group of six, they lose guys to the Power Four. Group of six is going to look to FCS guys, but the transition, you obviously made it yourself. What does that say about the level of football that's played at the FCS level that's able to now come up here and have great success?
Yeah, I think the top of the FCS, I think particularly the Big Sky Conference and the Missouri Valley Conference, there isn't a huge drop-off. And, and somebody asked me about that recently, and I said, hey, the best teams, and it really comes down to probably four teams, the North Dakota State, South Dakota State, or the Montana schools.
Right, yeah.
I mean, those teams are right there, I think, with the best teams in the Mountain West. You look last year, Boise State was the champion. I bet Boise State would probably be a slight favorite at home against an NDSU, but if they had to come to the Fargo Dome, it'd probably be a slight underdog. Yeah. So I just think the difference is, the drop off. Then everybody's probably the middle of the. It's the best teams in those conferences. Yep. You don't have the. Some of those teams that struggled. Traditionally when Western Illinois was in the league, or Murray State, or Indiana State. It's more of you're playing those best teams. It's playing. It'd be like playing the Jackrabbits and NDSU and Illinois State when they were having the best teams, and I know Northern Iowa's fallen off a little bit, but some of their best teams where they were really good, or when Youngstown went to the championship game in 16, it'd be like playing those 5 teams on a rotating basis when they're at the best. That's more like what this league's like.
Tell me about success last year, how gratifying that was. Come in, brand new team. Obviously, your son is a huge part of it. How gratifying was 2025?
It was a lot of fun, both personally and just seeing kind of our fan base get reignited.
Yeah.
We led the nation in percentage attendance increase. We went the year before we got there, they averaged about 16,000 fans a game. We got up to 25,000. Had our first sellout since 2007. So just seeing the fan base come alive and rally around us was huge. And I really have always thought, like a lot of schools that are traditional basketball schools, and I think Indiana's a great example of that.
Yep.
As soon as you give them good football, they quickly they figure it out pretty quick, and people love football in America.
Totally.
And our fan base is always, and that was one of the things that gave me confidence. I knew we didn't have an apathetic fan base. We had a tremendous fan base for basketball historically.
Yep.
I said, hey, we give them some good football, they're going to fall in line and support us, and we got to keep going to try to make every game. We had 2 great crowds last year. Hopefully we can up that and have 4 or 5 great crowds this year.
Well, knowing the fact you've got some of the heavy hitters coming to your place this year, how big a deal is that with the schedule when you saw it?
That's huge. I mean, having North Dakota State and UNLV at home, I think, are huge, because those are 2 teams I think will be right in the thick of things. And the Hawaii trip will be tough. I think they're going to be in the thick of things. And the thing that's tricky now is there's probably somebody right now that we're not thinking about that's going to be in the thick of things. Yep. And we'll see how that evolves as the season goes on. But I kind of, tell our players that a lot. Just like no one thought we were going to be good, and we ended up being good. Yeah. It's easier to rebuild teams. So there's somebody right now who maybe is coming off of a year that didn't go to a bowl game that's going to go to a bowl game this year, and you can't relax and take any team lightly.
I got to ask. I was asking Jackson this yesterday, being small town guy as well, Wisconsin guy. What was it like walking into the big house last year for you? As a head football coach looking around playing at the University of Michigan.
It's I tell you what, that's an intimidating place. And I had been there a while ago, like when I was a player and graduate assistant at Wisconsin. But those were always like early afternoon games. I think there's something different too at night. You walk in there, and now all those stadiums now have the the light shows. You can turn the lights off and make it dark during timeouts, and it was intimidating. Yeah. And I think early in that game we were a little rattled. I didn't do a great job of going into that game. I think having the team quite ready, and then we settled in. We were down 14-0, and we threw an interception off of a tip ball, and they had the ball at about the 20-yard line going in, and it was huge that our defense held them to a field goal to keep it 17-0. And then we really settled in. I mean, we played them, we ended up losing 35-17, so we played them pretty even after that point, but it almost got away from us.
Yeah.
That was huge that we settled in, and then we're able to make it 17-14 before half.
So I have to ask, for Bison fans to certainly remember your social media game. Is your Twitter game still as good as it was 10 years ago when you were with the Jackrabbits?
Yeah, I still try to keep social media engagement engagement up and everything, and I'm probably older and wiser, so want to make sure I'm not providing as much bulletin board material for people, but I am still a pretty good follow on that. So
I followed you for 10 years, man. It's a must follow for me.
Yeah, so we'll give them some good content to get excited about. And I was telling some of the the print guys in there too. Yeah. I know that really the South Dakota State and North Dakota State rivalry was kind of manufactured.
Totally,
it wasn't like something. So now we got to manufacture some new. I figure there's some oil in North Dakota and there's some oil in New Mexico. So maybe we need like a rusty oil can or something that we can come up with.
There we go. Traveling trophy. Let's do it.
We need
right?
something. So.
Were you surprised at the feedback you got on that one tweet in that game? Was that, hey, you know what? I'm going to put it out there and let's see what happens.
I can't even remember.
I know it's a decade ago. I know
which one it was, but I know. I know that little section, that small sideline. You have a lot of people yelling at you during the game. I know when you're on the sideline there.
Oh man, I have to ask here. For Bison fans who are going to make the trip to Albuquerque, what's the game day sense like for what to expect when to come out? Especially because we had a night game at New Mexico for that game.
Long time to tailgate. We got a good tailgate scene. They do a great job. There's a group of guys, the North End Zone Howlers. They start tailgating at 6 a.m. no matter when the game is.
Wow.
So it's a good tailgate scene. The weather will be a little nicer than Fargo for an October game, and it'll be a beautiful day, good setting, and a lot of time to get lubed up pregame for a late kickoff, 8 o'clock kickoff.
Last thing, just describe for fans out there, NDSU is better than anybody, the transition for the Bison. What do you think there might be maybe some road bumps? What would you see potential road bumps going into the league?
I think they're going to do very well. I think they're going to come in and have success right away. I look at like James Madison, how they transitioned up, and I always thought those were similar type programs at the FCS level. So I think they're going to do well. I mean, I still think there'll be certain things like the I think the one thing that they have is they're good at the line of scrimmage, O-line and D-line, which is one of the traditional things you'd think going from an FCS program up, there's a change. I don't think that will be a factor for them. I think they will be amongst the best on the line of scrimmage right away. Maybe some of the skill.
Okay.
I think they're going to see a little bit more speed in the perimeter than they saw week to week in the Mountain West compared to the Missouri Valley. So that'll take a little time catching up, and that's, I think, always been and we were the same way at South Dakota State. Sometimes you couldn't get those guys real close. You had to go, we got Pierre Strong out of, Arkansas, and I know some of those good backs that they've had have been Florida kids and things like that. So, that may be a little bit of that. And I think the travel will be a little, change too, because, even you think of, the long flight in the valley going like North Dakota to Youngstown's a couple hours.
Correct.
It's a little different than going to Hawaii like we both do this year. So, that part of it I think will be a little, taxing and be an adjustment as well. And, it's unique because you have a lot of different, weather you have to play in this thing. You could play in
Totally.
You could play in some games that are 100 degrees or some games at altitude. And you also could have a cold game if we play Wyoming in November this year on the road. So that could be a snow game. So a lot of different weathers you have to play in this league.
It's great to see you. Thanks so much for doing this. Good luck.
Thanks,
and we'll see you in October, okay?
I appreciate it.
Jason Eck joining us, head coach of the University of New Mexico. Bison and the Lobos coming up in mid-October.
From Vegas and the Mountain West, back to Sioux Falls. And I had a chance on Happy Hour to catch up with one of the absolute best college football players in the FCS level, and he's back. You can't have a Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Day without the returning Walter Camp Player of the Year, or Walter Payton Player of the Year, and if indeed that guy is back in the Missouri Valley Football Conference for the same team he was quarterbacking for last year. Beau Brungard from Youngstown State. I had it written down last night, miles and miles and miles of yardage through the air, on the ground, and, you're the Heisman Trophy winner of the FCS. To be honest, I can't believe you're here. I can't believe you're at Youngstown State until I found out that you're from the Youngstown area.
I am.
How much, I mean, can you believe you're here? A lot of people can't believe you're here. A lot of people would think you'd be somewhere in the Big Ten probably right now.
Yeah, to a lot of people it definitely seems crazy. Even to most of my friends back home, they're wondering why didn't you leave? But a lot of things went into it, and first and foremost is my faith. And a lot of prayer went into that, and I just felt the Lord was leading me to stay home, stay in Youngstown. A lot of the values that went along with staying, loyalty, a lot of the promises I had made, and we haven't reached the goals that we set yet. So I just wanted to stay loyal and achieve what we set out to achieve when I was a freshman. So.
Yeah. What's it like growing up in Youngstown, which from the outside appears to be like an Ohio version of a Friday Night Lights, Texas kind of town, just with both high school and college football? It seems like a very football-oriented community.
Definitely. There's a couple of things you need to know about Youngstown. A lot of good Italian food.
Yes.
And football's a big deal there. My dad played at YSU in the 90s, and it's just a football town, and people love football there. So high school football games, YSU games, it's just a big deal. And so I like being in places where, football is valued and there's that excitement around the game. And so growing up, it meant a lot, and it still does. So, that's why I love Youngstown, and it really is home for me.
Dad was a quarterback at Youngstown State during some good teams. A guy named Jim Tressel was the head coach there before he was at Ohio State. A couple national championships. So what was it like being the son of a I'm guessing, a well-known football hero in a big football town like that?
Yeah, believe it or not, my dad really doesn't like to talk about it a whole lot.
Yeah.
I think he does a great job of not letting his success become a pressure on me.
Yeah.
Or, I always asked him as a kid to please tell me more stories. I want to learn more about this. But you kind of hear it from a distance from other people. The tradition and the winning, heritage that YSU has had in the past, and that's something, when choosing my school out of high school, that was a big part of me choosing YSU, is wanting to be a part of that and wanting to carry on that that history and that my dad had. But it certainly is special to me.
He was a quarterback. Did it feel, is it something you right away clung to, you wanted to do? Did he encourage it with you? I mean, what made you decide to just go after, play the same position he was a really good player at?
Yeah, so he obviously was really good at it, and so when I would pick up the football in the front yard as a kid, I just wanted to be like him.
Yeah.
And so, my brothers would always try to catch me, and I'd run around, and then, I just chucked the football, and I started to realize that I can throw the ball pretty well. And so there really wasn't any other position that I clung to. I was always just a quarterback. That's just always how it's been.
How many brothers do you have?
2 older brothers and a younger sister. No, my oldest brother was a quarterback, and then my second oldest brother, he was my center in high school.
Yeah.
So protected me.
At what point can you take me back to a moment, a practice, a game, youth football, maybe high school, I'm guessing sooner than that, where you could figure it out, since that's what you always wanted to do? Like, I can sling it. I might have a future here. Was there an aha moment? Yeah.
So when I was young, I played flag football, and I attribute a lot of that to my success today. Just the fundamental building blocks of what that taught me. But this was competitive flag football. We traveled around the country, and I had so much fun doing that. But playing against teams from Florida, California, Texas, when I'm 8 or 9 years old, that really showed me that I'm competing against the best of the best when I'm just that age. And so I think that gave me a lot of confidence growing up.
Like, can you drop some names? Were there so many famous players that you remember playing against?
I'm pretty sure there was, but at that age, I'm just
you don't know who these guys
I don't know. I'm just having fun.
Yeah, but that had to be something. And so when you were in high school, your career record was like 38-4 in high school. So you're on a good team. You're obviously playing really well. Who's all talking to you? Who besides Youngstown State was going after you to play college football?
Well, to be honest, there were a couple schools talking to me and had interest in me, but my only real offer was YSU, which really surprised me. I got my YSU offer as a sophomore in high school, and then I'm like, all right, now it's going to blow up. I'm going to get all these offers, and nobody offered me.
Do you have a theory? Were you told?
I'm not sure. I was always told I'm just a little too small. Arm wasn't strong enough.
Yeah.
You should probably go play safety or running back or something like that. But Coach Phillips and the coaches at YSU had confidence in me.
Yeah.
And it really made my decision easy. My only offer, the only place I really wanted to go.
Yeah.
So it was very clear the Lord was leading me to go to YSU.
Well, so you mentioned this, because you're 6 feet tall, which a lot of people like me would love to be that tall. But how have you? Clearly, the performances, the highlights, the stats show how well you can play that position. But how have you done it? How do you overcome those shortcomings that people told you about, or that disallowed you to play at a higher level? How do you harness that? What has made you so successful to this point? Besides your teammates, play the guys that block for you, catch for you, all that.
Right. I think height at the quarterback position, obviously it's important, but I think it's a overhyped thing for quarterbacks. You look at guys like Drew Brees, Kyler Murray, all these guys, even Baker Mayfield. These guys are, around my height, and the success they're able to have. Looking at guys like that, really gives me a lot of confidence that I can do it. And then just my ability to run and escape the pocket, to use my legs. I think that's probably one of my strengths that, catapults me to be able to have the success I have is, when things break down, just making a play and escaping when you have to.
I was going to say that who are your guys, but it sounds like those are those your guys, like your favorite quarterbacks?
Growing up, Drew Brees has always been one of my favorites for his his size and stature and what he's accomplished. As a kid, I've always liked him.
Last year, you guys were playing in so many shootout games. I mean, high-scoring shootout games, so you had to just be on top of it all the time. You didn't win all of them. But what's it like to go through that? That has to be an incredible adrenaline rush, just knowing that we got to keep outscoring the other team. It's going to come down to you a lot of the time late in the game.
It is, and it's an emotional roller coaster up and down, but it really is exciting, and it teaches you a lot being in those close games. I would much rather that than just having blowouts, so yeah. I enjoy them.
Good luck this season, and hopefully we'll talk to you down the road. Appreciate
Thank you
your
very
time.
much. Thanks for having me.
Beau Brungard. Going to be fun to watch Beau Brungard, Chase Mason, Jerry Kaminsky at UND, DJ Williams at Southern Illinois. So many awesome returning quarterbacks in the Mo Valley, and it's getting started in just over a month on the field. Practice is getting started next week. We land the plane with Zach Borg and a fun feature from that Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Day. Now, when I had a chance to sit down with Illinois State coach Brock Spack, within a minute, I thought to myself, being this close to him, I'm talking to Andy Reid. Sure looks a lot like him, sure talks a lot like him, and you can't help but notice the glorious mustache. And so Zach Borg decided to make a whole story about it.
At Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Day, plenty of things are up for debate, from the preseason polls to the all-conference teams. But one thing is unquestioned. Brock Spack's mustache is elite.
That is the Mount Rushmore of mustaches right there, man. I am, man. Not even close to anybody else in the league being able to be able to handle what Brock's got going on that upper lip.
Man, I've been working on this since high school. I do well with what I have, but I definitely don't have enough up there for what he's got. He's got a real caterpillar on his lip, so. I admire it.
Maybe in like 20 years, hopefully I could get to his age and I ask him tips about how to maintain it.
What do you think he does to keep that thing the way it is?
He told me he uses a lot of natural oils and berries and, no, I'm just kidding.
I don't know, they talk about oils and all sorts of things, so I definitely have to set some appointments to get it trimmed and groomed. I wouldn't trust myself with that, so that's an expense that I'm not willing to take on right now.
Our quarterback's got a pretty good one. So Jackson's got a great mustache, but some guys can pull it off, some guys can't. Some guys have wives that absolutely think that it would look terrible on them, and I am not a stylish guy. I don't know what looks good, and so anytime anything comes to appearance for me, I ask my wife for advice. I trust what she says, and because she'll shoot me straight. If I look like an idiot, she'll tell me.
I also notice it looks like Mallory's got like a mohawk or something. To be honest,
I don't know what Kurt's going for this year.
Well, I think it's probably losing my hair, so that's what happens when you're coaching 10 years. I think it catches up with you.
When you talk about the OGs of this league and guys who, just I think epitomize what it means to pour into the guys in between the white lines, all kidding aside, they're just unbelievable people and guys you really respect, and it's really, it's an honor to be able to coach against those guys.
Coach Mallory, he went with the mohawk look. It's a good look, man. His wife probably likes it, so he went with it. I'm not one to throw shade at anybody's hair, I can tell you that.
I was going to give you a chance to see Travis last year, but that got some run on social media.
It did get some hits for sure, so I'm trying to keep my hat on at all times on Saturdays.
I've just been praying to be able to hold on to my hair for the next 2 or 3 years. Once it starts to go more than it is right now, I'll be shiny bald here. But if I had my druthers, I don't know, I may go with if I could grow it, the Lofton Ogroski, like the little flip thing he does at the front, seems pretty cool.
Would your wife approve the stash?
No, she's definitely not a facial hair guy. She let me grow out one, this was a few years ago. We went to a party where it was a 70s theme, and so I grew out the handlebars. It looked stunning, I thought, but she didn't think so. But I had the old school bike shorts to coach in, the whistle, the hat, the aviators. Man, I thought the look was great. I kind of wanted to keep it for the next season, but unfortunately the veto that she has, which she has earned time and time again. I think a lot of people don't appreciate what a coach's wife really goes through. I do, and so her veto card is unlimited times.
Oh, it is happy wife, happy life.
That is a saying it rings true.
Big thanks to Zach Borg. It's always fun to finish on a laugh. And again, you can check out all those Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Day interviews with all players and coaches that were there. Matt Zimmer and Marcus Traxler sat down with each of the 9 teams for about 10 minutes. And then I had one-on-ones with guys like Brock Spack and Beau Brungard, but also, of course, SDSU coach Dan Jackson, USD coach Matt Vitztham, and a man whose father is a walking legend in Indiana, Kurt Mallory, the Indiana State football coach. Great stories about Bo Schembechler and Woody Hayes. They're all still right there on the Happy Hour podcast page at Sioux Falls Live or right here at Midwest Sports Plus. A reminder, Happy Hour is daily. Hot Mic with Dom Izzo is daily. And the Nate Brown Show, usually featured on this program, also daily. Find them all at Midwest Sports Plus. For video producer Cordell Wright, for the folks at Augustana for letting us use Midco Arena, and for our content director Drew Trafton, I'm John Gaskins. We'll chat next week on another South Dakota Sports Lounge.